Have you ever had someone treat your yard like it was their personal FBI case? I have. And no, it wasn't thrilling. It was Maple Ridge Estates white picket postcards, polite nods at the mailbox. And then there was Karen Parkman, HOA enforcer, self-appointed sheriff of everyone's business. When we moved in, I thought I'd hit the suburbia jackpot. Picture-perfect lawns, driveway, gloss, the faint perfume of someone else's freshly painted shutters, like walking onto the set of a drama where nothing messy happens. I should have known better. Where there's an HOA, there's usually a crown, and Karen wore hers like armor clipboard, squint lipstick sharpened into judgment. At first it was tiny, almost laughable, a typed warning about my recycling bin 6 inches past the curb. First warning, very official, a passive-aggressive note taped to the mailbox about my offensive purple flowers, as if lavender had committed a felony. Gardening was my therapy, roses, lavender, marigolds, the one place I could unwind after a day of screens and deadlines. But therapy doesn't mix well with surveillance. I'd be out pulling weeds, and there she was at the edge of her yard, arms folded, watching like I was burying contraband instead of planting tulips. "Lovely day, Daniel," she'd say, syrupy smile hiding a jab, then lecture me about stepping stones, fertilizer, water schedules, even my bird feeder, because squirrels are apparently a threat to national security. It escalated. Anonymous slips under the door. Gnome exceeds height limit by half an inch. Wind chimes disruptive to community peace, as if the neighborhood had a secret office for petty complaints. I tried being neighborly. I hedged with privacy shrubs, later spotted her on a stepladder, binoculars up like a deranged wildlife photographer. I put up a no trespassing sign. She called it unfriendly. The breaking point came on Maya's birthday. We strung fairy lights, had cake friends, the grill was going, and for once I was proud of the life we'd built. I carried the cake out and the gate banged open, surprise, and there she stood, sniffing the buffet, critiquing the decorations, scanning guests like she had a background check app. Laughter died. People left early, and Maya's face, equal parts anger and humiliation, told me this had gone from annoying to corrosive. "Enough, Daniel," she said, and she was right. I read up on property rights and nuisance laws because I'm the kind of person who Google Docs a problem at 2 a.m. Turns out repeated surveillance and trespass can morph into harassment if you document it. But I didn't want months of court filings and lawyers at our porch. I wanted something immediate, proportionate, and yes, maybe a little satisfying. So I called Marcus, college roommate, garage full of tools guy, the sort who considers duct tape a personality trait. He grinned, said, "Let's give her the shower she deserves." And we set to scheming. Not revenge in the violent sense, defense in the creative sense. Motion-activated sprinklers calibrated to my property lines, aimed at every choke point. Karen favored the gate. She barged through the path. She traced the window she liked to peer into. We dug trenches in warm dirt under a forgiving sun. The PVC clicked. The rotor heads hissed during testing like a small promise. Marcus whistled off-key show tunes. Neighbors peeked from porches like it was halftime. And I felt that peculiar calm before a messy, necessary showdown, tightening your gloves before a fight. You know you can win. We tested with a prop box on the porch. At 10 p.m., Karen crept across my lawn, picked up the box camera rolling, and slunk back into darkness with nothing but shredded paper inside. Trespass check, evidence check. System went live. The first hit was almost cinematic. A Tuesday high-pitched shriek slicing the quiet curtains pulled aside, and there she was. White pants plastered to her legs, mascara streaked hair dripping, standing in my flower bed as a sprinkler delivered a perfect icy curtain. I called out, feigning concern, "Oh, Karen, did you get wet?" And she sputtered accusations about community standards as she stormed off, soggy and indignant. I laughed so hard I nearly cried. It felt at once petty and righteous. It turned into slapstick theater. She'd tiptoe up to my trash can's jet of water wig slips. She'd crawl in camo at night, another blast. A childish periscope popped above the hedge waterfall from the roof. Gutters gurgled, cameras caught it all. I saved the footage, watched it late, and chuckled like a villain in a bad movie. But the humor had a dark edge. She tried sabotaging tape on sensors, twisted heads, even the water main mysteriously shut off, showing she was escalating. So I hardened the system, tamper alarms, extra cameras in the hedges, a pressure monitor in the garage. If she played dirty, I'd play smarter. Neighbors noticed. Some gave discreet thumbs up. Others pretended not to look while sneaking peeks. The real twist came at a board meeting, where, to my surprise, George Lang, retired attorney 3 houses down, The quiet type who rarely spoke stood up and read the law like he was reciting a gospel. If my system sat entirely on my property, it was legal. Repeated trespass by her, that was on her. Evelyn Hayes, another HOA regular who'd once scolded kids for riding scooters, shrugged and said, "If his lawn looks like a golf course, maybe we should thank him." Support shifted. The board had no bylaw to cite. Karen's leather glove of control began to slip. She didn't accept the slide into irrelevance. She doubled down neon raincoats in July midnight belly crawls, recruiting a nephew who bolted at his first spray a typed cease and desist. She ceremoniously pressed into my hand obviously fake garden variety theater. When I held it up for the crowd, people laughed. Laughter is humiliating in its own way, and Karen hated being the joke. Then came the shovel. She marched onto my lawn with a shovel determined to dig up the infernal contraptions. The moment steel hit soil sensors popped, a dozen jets erupted in unison, a watery symphony under a blowing sunset. She spun, flailed, slipped into mud as an LED rainbow projector painted the spray, and the cul-de-sac lost its long-held breath and burst into applause. It wasn't cruelty, it was collective exhale, a neighborhood shedding the fear it had let her cultivate. The HOA hearing later felt like a courtroom drama with less formality and more popcorn. I played hours of time-stamped footage, midnight crawling, tampering, fake orders, the shovel, the crowbar, irrefutable, methodical, humiliatingly clear. George cut through with a plain warning, continued trespass, opens you and the association to liability. The board sided with reason. Karen's face went from red to a kind of stunned blanch. The queen bee's rule had a crack and it widened. She spiraled. She staged the most ridiculous stunts, yet dragging a hose across the street to spray my lawn, tripping and soaking herself instead, attempting to sever a sprinkler with bolt cutters and ending up chest-deep in mud as cameras recorded every second. The footage went viral in our neighborhood group. Marcus stitched clips into a dramatic slow-mo edit titled, "The Day Karen Fell." People who once avoided drama were now planting riotous zinnias and bringing chairs to the curb. A month later, she sold her house, moved away in the night. Rumor said to a condo with no lawns, and Maple Ridge breathed. The HOA quieted. Neighbors laughed again. Maya and I hosted barbecues that actually lasted through dessert. Kids ran past my yard without peeking. The sprinklers stayed not just for irrigation, but as a symbol, a reminder that boundaries matter, and sometimes that the most effective defense is a little creativity, documentation, and an unwillingness to be walked over. If there's a lesson, it's this: not an instructive sermon, but a quiet realization. I had rinsing mud from my boots. Boundaries are sacred, and letting small invasions slide is how bigger boundaries get trampled. You can litigate, you can shout, or you can set a line legally, creatively, and with evidence that everyone can see. We defended our space without breaking the law, without malice that harmed, and in the end, the community reclaimed itself. So here's the question I'm still turning over, and I want to hear from you when someone keeps crossing into your life, into your boundaries. Do you take the high road and hope they'll change? Or do you set a line so clear everyone can see it, even if that line ends with a little public humiliation for the abuser? Is public shaming ever justified if it stops someone from wielding petty power over an entire street? Drop your story. Tell me how you drew your line or how you wish you had.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.